Let's ask Republican Congressman Michael Burgess. He is a member of the House committee investigating Solyndra. Congressman, very strange turn of events here. First of all, Solyndra actually gave money to the California Democratic Committee, about $7,500, and then they turned around and lent money. This according, by the way, this is part of the bankruptcy filing of Solyndra that we got a hold of. These are all the creditors, hundreds of names of creditors of Solyndra, people coming forward saying that they lent money to Solyndra. Why would, on the one hand, the Democratic Party of California be getting money from Solyndra, and on the other hand, giving money to Solyndra?
It defies gravity, doesn't it? There is no rational explanation for why why it should be like that. And honestly, our committee is looking into the problems that occurred at the Department of Energy, the Office of Management of the Budget, and the White House that led to these loans in the first place. I wish we had exercised the proper amount of preventive medicine and never allowed this to happen in the first place.
Well, on the first question, the question of why Solyndra gave money to Democratic Party, I mean, it's not a lot of money, $7,500, but they did give a lot of money to other politicians as well. Some Republicans, but I think it was like 70% Democratic. They were sort of covering their bases there. But the argument could be made, gee, we got all this money from the government, we're going to give some back. That was probably our tax money going back to pay for Democratic political contributions.
It clearly stinks to high heaven, and that sort of thing just should not occur. And the degree to which the books were scrutinized, and we heard some of that from the lower level people in the emails that were discussed in our committee 2 weeks ago. Clearly there were things that were wrong. Lower level people felt jammed. They felt things were hurried. They thought the procedure wasn't followed. And I hope this is an outlier, but I got to worry, David, that there's more here.
Well, one more question about the creditor situation, then move on to something else that's troubling. Is it conceivable that maybe there was some kind of money laundering situation going on? We know that political parties have done that in the past, trying to launder political money through a friendly organization.
Yeah, it would be inappropriate for me to speculate on that. Clearly, Department of Justice, the Inspector General from the Department of Treasury are all involved in this. They need to do their jobs. The congressional committee on which I sit is principally concerned with was proper procedure followed by the White House, by the Department of Energy in letting these loans go out the door in the first place.
Yeah. Well, okay. Another problem is all the lobbying that was done. Now, I assume they filed all the forms that needed to be filed and everything, but there was $1 million paid in lobbying. And again, since money is fungible, they got over $530 million in loan guarantees that they drew all the way down, our money, and presumably $1 million of our money was used for them to lobby for our money. I mean, can't we stop that?
Well, certainly it seems that would be one of the first things you'd want to do. The executives were on the Hill in July going to offices and telling members of Congress that, hey, don't worry, nothing to see here, we're doing just fine.
What about the creditors now? Who does go about figuring out who gets what? Because as we know, because of the close contacts between certain creditors, particularly Mr. Kaiser, a big Democratic contributor to Mr. Obama, they get paid before taxpayers get paid for the money that was lost. Is that going to continue? Is that going to stay, or is there any way you can change that?
My understanding is that activity in and of itself is law under the Energy Policy Act passed in 2005. Now, clearly that is one of the areas where both the Department of Justice and I think, in fact, the Judiciary Committee in the United States Congress is looking into those allegations, because if they are true, that's not right, and someone did exceed their authority on that.
Do you trust the Justice Department to carry out an impartial review of all this? You're laughing.
Again, I probably should not speculate on that, but the Judiciary Committee itself is looking into that. Department of Treasury, Inspector General, I mean, at some point, someone has to be accountable for this, but it doesn't sound right, does it?
No, it certainly doesn't. Is there any chance of appointing an independent prosecutor?
My opinion is that should have already happened. It hasn't. We'll see where that goes, but clearly there needs to be a special master involved in the investigation.
Michael Burgess, Congressman, looking into all this with Solyndra. Thank you very much for coming in, Congressman. Good to see you again.
Thanks, David.
Well, you have